Let me ask you a question. Say after school one day, you just wanted to go, let's say to a gas station, just get a snack. What if you were shopping and someone pulls out one of these? What are you going to do? You're going to tackle him, you're going to try to punch him, or you're going to comply with what he says and you're going to get down on the ground while he starts demanding money. The best case scenario is if someone in that store besides yourself had a concealed gun carry permit. What that means, they're entitled to carry one of these in their belt or holster or in their shoe somewhere where it's visible. If they can do that, they can fend off that burglar, they can defend themselves, they can defend you, they can potentially stop that entire scene from happening. So, I know these are a scary thing to talk about, but especially here in Chicago in the US, it's a very big deal. I bet you didn't know that most guns used in crime were actually bought illegally. It's actually a known fact that majority of the guns used in Chicago, they weren't bought legally. They're actually obtained through a social network. That is crazy if you think about it, that over 70% of the guns in Chicago weren't even bought at a store. They were stolen, traded off Facebook, traded from family to family. They're not bought legally. And that's a scary thing. If you increase gun laws, that's not going to help anything. Clearly, only 30% of the people are actually buying them from stores. 71% of gunshot wounds on people are on criminals themselves. So that means they had a prior arrest due to a crime that they committed. So not only are you increasing the laws thinking that you're going to protect everyone, it's not going to happen. Majority of the people that are actually victims of gunshot wounds are criminals themselves. Of course, I'm not saying that there's helpless people dying every day from gunshots, because that's definitely not true at all. Of course, there is people dying every day from just random gunshots, stray bullets. So it is a scary thing to talk about, and I know that. But when you think about it, this isn't the only thing that can kill someone. I can kill someone with this. It's just a kitchen knife. So if you're saying, let's ban these, why not ban these as well? That's impossible. You can't ban guns. You can't ban knives. Literally, you can kill someone with just a pill. Like any pill that may affect them. You can kill someone with that. Something that's been around literally since the day of man. A bow and arrow. You can kill someone with that on accident as well, but it's a proper hunting tool. 90% of violent crimes didn't even involve a gun last year in the US. When you think about it, yes, guns are scary and yes, they can kill people, but that's not all that they're used for. If 90% of the violent crimes in the US in 1 year don't even involve a gun, why even attempt to get rid of them? That's not going to solve many issues at all. Considering if you think about it, 90%, that's a huge, huge, huge number. That's people using their fists, using their knives, using a baseball bat. They can use anything. It's not just a gun. It's just when people think of a gun, it's the scariest because this is not something to just la 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 la. Yes, it's an airsoft gun. I would never obtain a real gun unless I feel safe enough to do it. So I'm not saying from this video, go out and just buy a real gun. I'm not saying that. That's a stupid idea. I'm saying maybe get trained in it and maybe look up laws on how this might affect you. Let me just put some statistics in mind. 12,000 people a year in the US die from a gunshot wound. It's a pretty substantial number, but 33,000 people are injured each year from texting and driving. So when you think about that, I guarantee at least probably half of you in the room that have driven the car have texted and drove. So why not ban cell phones? Why not ban cars? It's because they're necessary. And if you think about it, guns, they're necessary as well. 6 million people a year die from smoking cigarettes, yet they're not illegal at all. So why not ban that as well? There's a substantial amount more people dying from smoking every year than there is a gunshot wound. So let me just explain some circumstances why stricter gun laws just might not be a very good thing. So say that I'm a very responsible person and I want a gun just to keep in the house in case of an emergency. If you have stricter gun laws, that'd make it physically almost impossible for me to obtain a gun to protect me and my family. Criminals? They're criminals. They're not going to go into a store and legally purchase a gun majority of the time. They're going to get a gun no matter what. That's why they're criminals. They don't follow the laws. So why increase the laws that's going to affect us responsible people versus the criminals? It's not going to help. And you're also going to have the major issue of the Second Amendment. For some of you that aren't from the United States, the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. That has been around for many, many years, but it has become such an issue and such a debated topic now that we're really not sure where that stands at the moment. Most people should have the right to bear arms if they feel necessary. So I'm not saying everyone should hold a gun and just walk around. That might help a tad just because most people aren't going to commit a crime if they know that they could be injured themselves. But you really got to think about it. In the US, I know gun control, it needs to be more lenient. I know in my heart that that would solve some issues. It's not going to eliminate random killings. It's never, ever going to happen. There's just too many people in the United States. There's too many guns already distributed. But I just want to make it so you guys know my stand, and maybe you can get on board. I'm not saying you have to agree with me 100%. I'm just hoping that I persuade you a tad to where you see, okay, maybe more lenient gun laws could work. It could work to our benefit. That's all I'm asking. But the number one thing is, I just want you to say, stay safe.